Welcome to Girl, Come Sit With Me. I am your host, Dom, and this is a safe space where we focus on understanding the power of vulnerability. So today I have my special guest is an understatement, okay? Not only is she an entrepreneur, not only is she a veteran, a mother, come on, she is also the owner of Unlocked Brims. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And she is my big cousin who, y'all, I looked up to her since I was a little girl, okay? So this is my cousin, Coffee.
Hey. It's an amazing to be here. So first, I want to say thank you, cousin, for one, acknowledging me,
Of course.
to come sit on your podcast, to sit down with you, and to just say thank you for watching my story. You know, because it's a different view when somebody is living it versus somebody watching you. So for you to see me and see my journey and see what I'm doing and see Unlocked Brims, I thank you.
Oh, girl, I appreciate that. Oh, yes, girl. When I tell you I love seeing the growth, and not growth as in bottom of the map growth, because that was not necessarily her story or our story. It's more so of just watching her be authentically herself since we were kids. And she's my big cousin. So she used to have to watch all of us.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. She used to have to watch all of us, protect us, make sure if we got in trouble, she got in trouble. Definitely a couple of those moments. But she was always so self-assured and self-aware. No matter what phase it was in life, she knew exactly who she was. She knew exactly how things were going to go and what was not going to fly. And she had no issue saying no from the beginning. Pure pro at it, okay? But today, I have a really big question to ask you, okay? So, my question to you is, what is one thing that people get wrong about healing?
Woo.
Yes.
That, for me, that you are truly healed when you believe you're healed. I don't think you ever really are healed because trauma is forever lasting. In the sense of, if you stub your toe and you walk around the bed, every time you walk around that bed,
You're going to think about that
you
time.
going to think about that time
You stub that
you
toe.
stub your toe. So even though you know you may not stub your toe this time, you going to tread a certain type of way around that bed.
That's true. That's learning.
That's learning.
That's learning.
It's a learned behavior.
learning.
You're going to remember, if I get too close or walk too crazy or don't pay attention, what's going to happen? The potential is I may stub my toe again. And that pain is going to do what?
Okay. I see what you're saying. And, it's funny because earlier this week, I really was like, I've healed. For those of you new to the podcast, I am a divorcee. And I really was like, oh, yeah, I'm healed, whoop, things like that. When I tell you the residuals, though, they are real. And I'm realizing that there's levels to healing. So, yes, it's continuous. Completely agree with that. And it's levels to it.
Yes.
And I'm at a level where I've healed to a point where, okay, I no longer want that individual. I no longer want that situation. But I'm not healed. I'm not above being triggered. And I've had several of those moments. Certain shows I may watch.
A song.
Oh, my goodness. A song. And I'm just like, okay. Or I look off into the sky after I drop the kids off. And I'll just, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what's going on right now.
Right.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's a process.
I don't like it.
And I'm gonna tell you, to be honest, I said this the other day, and I used the analogy of being at bat, being a baseball player.
Okay.
When you get ready to go to the leagues or you're trying to prepare, you going to the gym, you're testing out bats, you going against squads, you trying to know when you get to home base, your body is prepared, you're square, you know, you have gotten machines. You try to get every ball to come to you. You prepare for any fastball, any curveball, and then you get hit with a ball.
Hey, that's
that you was not prepared for. And it knocks you off. And when you get hit by that fastball, you look down at the picture like, hold on.
Yeah, facts.
I've been preparing. I'm thinking that I've watched every movie. I've talked to everybody. I've read a book. I've heard. I've listened. I've heard. You know what I'm saying? And then that ball hit you. And I said, I've never healed from a fall. I've never actually went through that healing process because I've always said, if I'm going to fall, when I'm in the fall, I'm so prepared to get away from the fall and heal from or get through it. You know what? I got to bounce back.
Yeah.
I've never sat down and healed from something. I never went through that process to say, okay, you really got to go through. It's like, let me find the next thing to get through. So when somebody said, oh, I'm going through a healing process, do you really?
Yeah.
Or do you find something else to take your mind off of what you're going through so you don't have to face that pain as hard as it is so that you don't feel it?
I know I felt significantly better when I started going through the pain because I couldn't acknowledge the pain
because it hurt.
I was at a point where I just could not acknowledge the pain. It seemed like I almost had to muster up the courage to acknowledge the pain, to even think about allowing myself to experience the pain so I can work through it. So for a while, I was avoiding it as much as I could. Like, I knew I was having moments where I didn't want to get out of bed. I knew I was having moments where I didn't want to leave my house to do anything, not to go to work. I didn't want to, on my virtual classes I was teaching, didn't even want to have the camera on. I'm teaching them while I'm laying down in bed because I just did not.
Didn't have it.
Didn't have it. Okay? Did not have it. And I really had to really allow myself to acknowledge, like, hey, this sucks.
Yeah.
This sucks.
Yeah.
And that's insane.
That's
insane. Because I'm like, for you, what helps you navigate through the pain?
Put my stories on a record.
What you mean?
So when I was hired
From the
military, you know, people think that it's going to be this grand thing. You know, you have this process. Oh, I'm going to be so excited. I'm done. Blah, blah, blah. And I knew, you know, watching my husband go through depression, go through that bout of PTSD, anxiety. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to go through it. I'm going to prepare myself.
Oh, snap.
Right.
Okay.
I'm going to get ahead of the game.
Yeah. Right? I'm not going to be like my husband.
I'm not going to be like everybody else.
Yeah.
Lies. Even in all the preparation, seeing the signs, knowing exactly what's going to happen, I still went through it. I'm talking about days of what am I going to do with the rest of my life? Now I feel like, okay, now I'm finally 18. What do I do now? And so I had a dream. I kept having this dream. I was lost. Like, I was depressed. I was lost. I was, you know, really unhappy within myself. It had nothing to do with, you know, family, kids, marriage, finances. It was just me.
It was just you.
It was just me. Because I was living for everybody else.
And you also kept re-signing up when you was in. So she kept signing up. I don't know if anyone knows how the military works, but you can keep registering. And someone...
Re-enlist.
There you go. Someone kept re-enlisting.
I did. Because I believed in finishing something I started, which was my career. And I didn't have an option to come home. So it's a difference.
Yeah.
It's a difference when you have an option to come home and find another way. You know what I'm saying? No, my mom was like, no, you're going to finish what you started. And so...
I did not know that part.
But, you know, I love that part about my mom. Like, the strength that she instilled in me, I would never take that away from me or her giving it to me. Because in the military, getting through Margaret, I was able to get through war 5 times over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so just even, going through and being able to put my story on brims was like having that dream was like, why am I putting buttons on the brim? Why do I need to tell these stories?
Mm.
And it was like all these people, all these things, all these people I became that nobody got to see. Even when I came to ask you, I said, cousin, who am I? Do you know me?
Yeah.
And it's because the lessons, that experience, all the things that I experienced in life that y'all never seen and you have to overcome.
And it's like every time you came back home, it felt like we had to relearn you.
Yeah.
Because you was a different person every time.
Every time, because I had new experiences.
And see, I was so young, I didn't understand that. It was just like, I was like, how she keep reinventing herself, right? It didn't dawn on me. Now that I'm older, I understand, hey, that's growth.
Yeah.
That's experience. I really had to see it as
experience it.
Yes, I had to experience it for myself to say, oh, Snap, we really do experience in life. And as you get older,
you change.
You change. Boundaries change. The feelings change.
You get better.
Yeah.
And so from that dream, it was like, why am I putting buttons on the brim? What? Why? And I kept having this dream over and over for 3 months. And finally I did it. And when I tell you, it was like a door opened up for me that I wasn't aware that was closed. And my friends tell my story better than me because, like I say, I don't see me. I don't watch my movie.
Yeah.
And so when I started putting my experiences, my journey on my brims, it was like people started seeing them and they became names. They became part of me. And it was like, wait a minute. If I give you this, I'm giving you a part of me.
Yep.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
This I may not get this back. And so it was like the pain and hurt. And then I started like, wait a minute. I can't put my pain. I can't put my hurt. I can't put my disappointment. I can't put my letdowns and my fears on somebody else's crown. So it's certain brands that people like, why won't you sell this?
Why won't you sell it?
Why won't you give this away? And they be like, why won't you? Even if somebody asks you, they'll give you $1,000. I say, the pain that's in that.
It wouldn't be fair.
It wouldn't be fair to put that on somebody else.
Yeah.
And so with my brims, I've started putting it transitioned to a key, a cog, and a button. And so each brim comes the key, a cog, and a button. And the key represents you'll never face any door locked in life. The cog represents time. Time is on your side if you use it wisely. And the button represents security. There's no person that don't want the door open more time wants to feel secure within themselves. I don't put that anywhere else on your body. I don't put that on your pants, nowhere. I put that on your crown.
On your crown.
On your head. Because how often do we go through life and we go through situations, trials and tribulations, and we forget that one situation that pushed us forward to get to the next.
Yep.
And we like, I can't believe I'm going through this. And I'm like, no, remember this story?
I remember your story.
And so you wear that brim, and somebody asks you, where you get that brim from? Man, this is my brim. This is my story. This is a part. And so that's what made the brim so important to me. Like, can I put your story? Can I make you remember how special you are? Can I make you remember the importance of you? And even being a veteran, I lost me. I lost me being in the military. I lost me being married. I lost me being friends. I lost me being a cousin, a daughter, all of those things.
All these different hats.
All these different hats we wear. Nobody get to see. Show the world. So the caveat is, I don't want the story where you got a podcast, baby. You got a little money in your pocket. Now you can go teach your class. I want that story where you said, I didn't want to get up, Tony.
Yeah.
I didn't want to eat. I didn't have it in me. But I want you to remember that most important part, that it was you that continued on every moment, even when it was hard.
Even when it was hard.
Even when it was challenging.
And even when it was scary.
Even when it was scary. But you did it. And if you can put that on the brim, if you can wear it and wear it boldly and know that you carrying a part of me with you, baby, you can face the world. That's why I say everybody can't wear this brim.
I like that.
You can't just put one of my brims on and say, oh, this is an unlocked brim. No. Because, it's a story about it. It's a name. It's a purpose. It's a part of you.
And it's personalized for every individual.
And I can't make the same one again. I can't be that person that made that brim again.
That's why. So she has an entire studio where she creates her brims in her home.
Yes.
And by entire studio, I mean, y'all, it's about the size of some people's houses, probably the size of my house. And my house is a decent size. I'm just, okay. So when you go there, it is literally, you see the brims that she made all around. And it's interesting because knowing bits and pieces of your story, as a cousin, I'm like, oh, I see this.
Yeah.
I understand this. Hence why I was crying in your basement.
Listen, it happens.
Because I was like, I know exactly. I have an idea exactly where she was in that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm older, it's like, I've experienced that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. One of them took me out. So one of them, reminded me of, so my best friend passed away a couple years ago. We were best friends since elementary school, and she passed away. And it reminded me, one of them reminded me of her and like some of her trauma.
I remember.
And I was like, what in the world? Yeah.
It happens. And it's so crazy because everywhere I go, people ask me, they're like, can I record that? And I was on the phone with somebody. They was like, are you reading this to me? Are you reading something?
And you're like, no.
So I'm like, you can ask me anytime. I can repeat this any given moment because it's my truth.
Yeah.
And it's been a process. And I tell you, Perfect, in this journey of, going through unlocked realms and coming out of healing, I'm never coming out. Like, even going through becoming a designer, I'm like trying to heal from my trauma of being in the military, having PTSD, dealing with anxiety every day. Like, people think that it's easy. It's not.
Yeah.
It is so challenging to heal from that because everything could be a trigger. Walking down the street, seeing people cross the street can remind me of something. And it's like, oh my gosh, there's a whole bunch of people, it's a crowd. It could be anything.
It could just be anything,
any moment. And I have to remember, I'm always constantly grounding myself. Remember, okay, you're safe. What do you feel? What do you touch? What do you smell? What can you see? Are you safe?
To help set you back in that moment.
And I've had anxiety attacks and nobody would know, and I'm sitting there.
Hey, I do that. I do that. Like, I would have a full, these days people call it the crash outs. But I have a full, and girl, yes, they call it. They're like, oh, I'm about to crash out. And they're like, it sounds like you're just about to have a nervous breakdown or an anxiety attack. Let's unpack this. And you're like, nope, nah, right? Yeah, girl. Yeah, no. And I'll just sit there, and I may daze out, but on the inside, I heart palpitations, just feeling everything. And I have to do exactly what you said. I have to ground myself to bring myself back. But I like that, reminding yourself that you're safe. Yeah. Because that's a big one. That's a big one. Reminding yourself that you are safe is a big one. Because it's so easy to feel
you could be gone in a split second.
It's so easy for us to say that.
Because I swear, in the healing process, it's about surrounding yourself with the right people. And I had to learn that even when I would have anxiety attacks coming around people, and I didn't understand why I was getting so antsy. And I'm like, oh, this person really ain't right for me. Like, energy is telling me something is wrong, but us as people, we trying to dismiss those red flags that our body is naturally telling us, hey, this is danger, caution.
Yep.
Hey, red flag. Stop. Wait. Pause.
Therefore, freeze, please.
We're gonna run backwards. And what we do, charge. And so I had to be in a place where to go against my counterproductive thoughts. it's called, so when I was in military, I was called MRT is resiliency training.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just one thing that I continuously, I live by to this day. It's RTR.
To this day.
Real-time resiliency.
Mm-hmm.
And real-time resiliency is just like the healing process, going through that is fighting those counterproductive thoughts in the moment.
Like, that's hard to do in the moment.
With truth. With truth.
Wait, that's a whole nother level of self-awareness to do that. Wait now. In real time.
In real time. So imagine, let's give you a premise. I mean, you were saying how, you ain't want to get on and do, you was a professor, you want to go online, you want to do your face. I don't want to be a professor right now. I'm depressed. You know what? I'm an amazing professor. These students love me. They still want me to teach them, regardless of what pain I'm going through. I still am great. I went to school for this.
Oh, okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
I
So
do that.
fighting those, anything could be negative. You know what I'm saying? Anything could be adversity. Even having a baby. You think you having a baby is a good thing? No, having a baby could be bills, pampers. Oh my gosh, and 20 years of most stuff. That's $1 million. A bet that you finna go into having a baby.
And that's what just one.
That's one.
That's one.
And so the adversity is, you know what, this day is not going to be a burden. I'm going to have all the financial things I need to take care of this baby.
I'm going to be a great mother.
I'm going to be a great mother. I'm going to be a great father. The universe is going to provide me. My God is going to provide me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to have trouble. I'm not going to run into. So
that's not my story. That I always tell myself,
it's not my story.
That's not my story.
Right. My manager said, she said, amazing and wonderful things is going to happen today.
Yeah.
And so I've been, incorporated that it's going to be a great day. Wonderful things is going to happen. Something amazing is going to happen to you. And so when I started incorporating that, it gave me a different perspective. Because we can often get so caught up in the negative. And that's why I say, fight that counterproductive thought with those real-time resiliency. Make sure, and I love, that's why I say I go back and use my military experience to get me through. I did 21 years, and what's the one thing I would take away, even going through trauma and healing and the process, the greatest gift that the military gave me is the Army itself. Listen, it's in the song. It says the Army goes rolling along. And even, think about it, in war. Famine, anything that goes on, the military continues to move forward.
Regardless.
What's
going on, they keep going.
Any setback. In the Army, they gave us 10 days. Give you 10 days to mourn.
Yeah.
And you got to put your boots back on, baby.
That was wild. When my aunt,
my grandma,
is her grandma, because our grandmas are sisters.
Yes.
And they were like this.
And that was my baby.
Okay, so her grandma's her baby, my granny's my baby, and both of them were each other's baby. When I tell y'all, it was insane because we have several members in our family who have been in the military, the Army, things like that. And the fact that y'all only had a couple of days, I don't know how they did it.
You have 10 days when you have a death.
A couple of days.
Yeah. And then you have to put your boots back on and you have to go to work. And let me tell you, I was in Iraq when grandma passed away.
Oh, I remember that part.
And I remember them telling me, it was like, so I remember on the phone, they told me, they was like, well, how do we know that your grandmother is your maternal grandmother? What? Listen. I tell you no lies.
It just shows y'all pictures.
Baby. I told my captain, I said, I got 210 rounds. That lady is like, I'm going home to see my grandmother. If I don't go home to see nobody else,
hey, thanks.
I'm going home for that one. And so, listen, that lady, she told me one thing through every combat. She said, I'd rather for you to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. And every mission I went on, every time I went through something, I remember that, and with that, and I say the military kept me strong. It kept me being in the process of, you can't stay in this.
You have to keep it
You
going.
gotta keep going. Like,
you have to keep it
when I
going.
say, cousin, this hidden process, and I love your podcast and even this topic because, like, being a suicide individual, having to understand the mindset of how do you become, how does somebody think about suicide? How do you ever think about that young?
Yeah. It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
And let me tell you something. I joke about it amongst my friends, but and I say, my pride and ego wouldn't let me do it.
I feel you.
You understand what I'm saying?
I feel that wholeheartedly.
I talk so much noise, and I've told people there's no way you're gonna let the world conquer you. You're not gonna tell me you're mentally weak to let anything on this earth can conquer you. I was like, you cannot be conquered by nothing. That man and the body. There's nothing on this earth that can conquer you. You are the only person that can reach you first.
And you can make it through it all.
You can make it through.
You can make it through it all.
Baby, you know what time? I remember one time I was going through, because I was going through. I called when I left because 11 o'clock. I was in Kentucky. And I sat there and I called my cousin Quan.
Oh, Quan.
Yes. Baby,
hey,
and she said, cousin, you'll never call me this late. What's wrong? And I said, cousin, I could walk in front of this 18-wheeler and nobody knew. And she was like, cousin. And I said, cousin, I know, but I talk too much noise. But in that moment, you know, and that's why I say it's important to have the right people around you to bring you out. And who can get through to you. Because you have to have the people around you that you feel safe enough and you trust enough to where they can get through you when no one else can get through you. Because like it's different if somebody else look me in my eyes versus coffee look me in my eyes. It's a whole nother ball game. Anybody else won't get a tear out of me. My eyes won't take nothing. But it's certain people, when they get through to you, you know. Yeah. And so with that, it was like, and I see every person that I'm motivated, you know, every person that I talk to, every soldier, even every woman that I talk to now. And I ask them, I have to ask myself this question. Even when I ask you, like, who am I? Who do you know? Yeah. I ask myself, and I love you, yes. Who am I? Yeah. Because I'm reinventing myself every day. Because trauma doesn't allow you to be that same person. There's no way I'm that person that I was yesterday. Because the heartache that I felt yesterday
is not the same.
It's not the same heartache that I feel today. Though it still hurts, but it's a little bit less. It's a little bit lighter. You know, it's not as heavy. You know? What it is. And so now, and I say, as you go through trauma, it gets lighter. Doesn't mean it's not going to hurt. Doesn't mean that song that y'all sung together, that you remember the laughs and the cries. And does that mean you're not going to have those memories? No, that's going to be memories that you're going to take forever with you. And it makes you who you are. And even everything I went through, and the one thing I can tell you that I would say to take with you as a human, pain knows pain. That's real. I don't care what country you're in, baby. If you stump your toe, hey, what you gonna say? Ow. No. So you understand the toe.
And everybody gonna understand that. No matter what language it is, even if they don't understand the word, they understand the conviction. They're gonna feel the pain. No matter. And that's why I tell people, there is no weight, there's no scale that says your pain is greater than mine. Yeah. And it's not a competition.
If you said me, I hurt you, you say, cousin, you did this to me and it hurt, right? If I come back and say, cousin, I'm sorry, I hurt you. Yeah. But when the reason why I did this reaction was because your initial action was this. And this action hurt me, caused me to respond
like this.
This not me taking away
from your hurt.
Your hurt. I'm just telling you what the action was. And sometimes people this is for my own self, and this is me going through my generation. I told you I had to go through my own, figure out my own generation curses, why I'm responding and reacting to actions the way I am.
A certain way.
Because I'm still living in the reactions of my mother, the reactions of my father, you know what I'm saying, and the reactions of myself. Yeah. So when you figure out that you're living in reaction, what's the action that caused you to do that? Why are you responding to trauma a certain way? What was the trauma of your mother that she responded to that trauma? That now it's a trigger for you to respond that same way.
Girl, moving. So, hey, that's real because so my mom and I, for those of you who don't know, my granny passed away last year. And yeah, in our family, like the women were like this.
Mm-hmm.
We're very, very close, very, very tight knit. Like we watch our grandmothers be best friends, not only be sisters, but be best friends. Like through dementia, Alzheimer's.
Oh man.
Even when her grandmother didn't remember
Nothing.
she remembered her baby sister, which was my granny.
The last person she called before her last stroke was Auntie Bobby.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Even as Granny started to like forget her memory, she still remembered that call.
Yeah.
And she would still cry about that call. She'll cry about that call and when their mom passed away. I could tell you the whole story about what. Yeah. And that was even through her dementia. She still, that never left her. Never left her. So when you say pain knows pain and how it doesn't necessarily leave us, it's a real thing. And like, one of the things that my mom and I have been doing lately is, okay, she may react a certain way when I tell her something, and I'm like, hey, Mom, I already know you gonna react like this, but I'm gonna just tell you how it made me feel. Or how about we tailor it so it doesn't have to be this way? And then she'll do the same thing with me. She'll be like, hey, I'm not one of the kids. I don't like that. And I was like, okay, so how can I do this different? Or can you at least let me know when I'm doing it? Because sometimes I do it and don't even realize.
Because you're in response.
Yes, I'm in a reaction and don't even realize that this is how I'm reacting. So it's literally about acknowledging where we are with it, each person's point of view, understanding it, but it also takes two people to tango. So we're able to do it because both of us are willing to do it. Doesn't mean we don't clash sometimes.
Because that's growth, though. Like, but that's amazing. I wish I had that with my mom.
We've been doing that.
That's amazing.
It's hard. I'm going to tell you, hey, now. It's not the easiest thing, but it's worth it. It's like you see the growth, and now my boys are watching it too. So they're like, oh, okay. So I even watched Saran's this year, and I did something to my baby, my 3-year-old. And he was I was like, don't do that. I don't like when you do that. And I said it stern as heck, serious as heck. And he was like, okay, I'm sorry, Mom. And I was like, okay. It made my heart melt because, yes, we're communicating. We're healing. We are, even how you were saying earlier when you were talking about how you were pushing through the setbacks. Girl, that's going to help someone because those setbacks can just feel like they're coming back to back to back sometimes. And it's almost as if I'm learning that I'm getting to a place where it's harder for someone to rattle me. It's harder for people to rattle me, but that's only because I'm settling into who I am this season.
You're not settling.
So what should I settle?
Why do you think if you settle at me, you're going to stay that place?
Oh, yeah, no. Okay. See, yeah, we don't, okay. So we'll change that. So we will say, because we're not doing that either.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Change the word.
Okay.
You're evolving.
I'm
into a different phase.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
You go to a different phase all the time, and that's okay.
And I like it because I feel lighter.
When I tell you,
I feel lighter.
It's okay to be, and I call it, to be in the place that I call the 3 A's.
Come on.
Acknowledgement, acceptance, and taking purposeful actions of change.
See,
you know what I mean? So once you acknowledge that, like you said, okay, I acknowledge that me and your mom acknowledge the communication style, those are barrier. Okay, let's acknowledge this issue. We're going to accept that we're going to make purposeful action to change.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. We're going to accept that. We're accepting that something's wrong. Now we're going to take purposeful action.
Yeah.
The 3 A's.
The 3 A's. I love that. And acceptance, and action.
Yeah.
I love that because when it comes to doing the work, and even with any type of relationship, I'm realizing, yes, both parties have to be willing to, but you also have to be in a place where both of y'all trust each other. Like, my mom been my best friend forever, and since I was a little girl.
I wish I had your relationship. I used to be so jealous of that.
Like, Best friend.
Everybody feel like I felt her too much. Y'all had all the cousins was jealous of y'all relationship.
Wow.
I am so serious. I used to be like, I wish. Yeah, even on Bobby and your mom,
because they
had
friends
the
too.
best relationship. And I used to be like, oh my gosh. I wish I had a relationship with my mom and dad. Don't get me wrong. My mom, we have our relationship.
Yeah, I know y'all good.
But, just to have that different dynamics, that sisterhood, to where you can go and tell her anything and talk about some things. My mom, she's old school. Certain things you ain't gonna talk about. What? We ain't talking about that. I'm your friend.
Yeah.
So, you have that, but your relationship is amazing. Like, I have always been like, yo, I want to have that type of relationship with my kids. And so even with that, like me and my mom, we didn't have that emotional connection to where it was all lovey-dovey. So even with going into the military, having my first child, it was emotional detachment because going in combat, you mentally and emotionally cannot stay connected.
You have to disconnect.
You have to disconnect because in combat, you're thinking, if I'm thinking of somebody at home, I'm distracted. I cannot focus on the task at hand. And the task at hand,
I got come back a lot.
And I got other people around me
depending on you because
to be focused.
You was high rates. So,
and then you in combat, you got other people that you got to look out for. You're looking out for the enemy, making sure that you're vigilant. And then you still got to focus on all your other stressors, their stressors. So imagine your stress level at 1,000, but you got to show you at 30.
That's stressing itself.
So then I'm detached from my son. So now I'm trying to keep that. So now our relationship is destroyed because now I'm like, okay, if I keep him in this place, I know that if something happens to me, he'll be okay. If I raise him to be independent, he's going to be okay. But then I raised him without that affection.
Yeah.
Because now I want you to be strong.
Yeah.
I don't want you to rely on emotions. I don't want you to be soft. I need for you to be hard
because I need to make sure you're okay and the world's not going to get it easy.
And the world is not, and you're a black man.
Yeah.
So I can't be a soft black woman raising you to go out into this world to face it and think it's going to be sweet.
Yeah.
Because it ain't sweet to me. So I know
it's not going to be sweet.
It's not going to be sweet to you. And I can bat my eyes and twist my hips. Which one?
Yeah.
And so, even, and now having my second son at a later age, I changed it. Even now my son, like me and Troy, we have a great relationship. We talk more. Now I'm like, I want to change that. It's up to me as a parent to say, I don't want that, a strange relationship. I want to have that connection with my son. I want him to be able to talk to me and be open and be able to say, hey, Mom,
I'm concerned about you.
Yeah. And we talk now. We have those open communication, styles and talk like that. And I love it because it was not like that. And even my baby now, he's 10 and we still so close.
I was going to say he's very affectionate.
Yes. And I love it because I didn't have that, so it's amazing to have that. But it's a part of, like I said, evolving and changing and getting better. Because as you grow, you're not going to be the same over next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to be through this process. You may have your whole other man falling in love, and now you're in a different phase. So now your affection is different, because now you're single parent. I got to make sure I got to take care. I got to be strong. I got to get through this process. So I need for y'all to be on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Exactly.
When you fall in love, you're a little bit more calmer. Now everything is good. You could be on 1, 7, 8, 12, 23.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. So it's a whole thing, cousin.
It's a process and it's growth when you really think about it. And even with us as we go through life and I feel like with our family, we learned how to survive regardless. We learned how to be in a collective because sometimes if one got in trouble, we all got in trouble.
Line them up.
And I was the good one. I feel like I was the angel growing up compared to everyone else.
Yeah, because you was a nerd and you was doing everything.
Yeah,
you stay out of trouble. So that's one thing we used to push you. We didn't ever let you get in trouble.
Yep.
She couldn't hang out with us because you was going to school. And you
Yeah.
was doing what we wanted, you know what I'm saying, our little cousin to do. So it's like, you can't get a job with us.
Yep.
You can't hang out with
Sure
us.
did. Even when I
No.
wanted to a couple of times, like, no, like, I can do it. They're like, So for us to have that solid foundation of knowing how to survive and watching our parents be the best that they can be, and also, you know, their lowest moments, we were able to see those dynamics to where now I feel as though, yes, we watched them thrive, but watching us thrive now is lit through.
Man.
It's like, it's just beautiful
Yeah.
to witness.
To know where we came from.
Yeah.
And nobody knows. The stuff that has me where nobody gets to see.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what it is. Oh my goodness. Y'all, okay. So I think we covered literally all of my questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really did. Cause I know I was like, we're gonna get into some
We gonna
things.
get into it.
Okay.
But it was amazing. Like I love the dialogue. Just to touch on, just bring current, all the things that's going on to us. Wrong. We gotta get out here and tell your story. I love that you're out here. Don't be afraid. Cause your story is gonna help somebody else get through their darkness. And so that's why I say tell the story.
Yeah.
Unlock the room. And let your story be the light in somebody else's darkness.
Girl. Yes. Okay.
It's a thing.
It is a real thing. Okay. And on that note, I just want to tell you, Coffee, thank you for sitting with me. Okay. Girl, thank you. And you all, I want you to have a beautiful day. But before you do, where can they find you?
All right, y'all. You can find me on all social media platforms at Unlock Rams everywhere. Unlock Rams _ on Instagram, social media, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. You want to find me directly, you can find me at Solid Black Coffee on Instagram. We have one social media, Solid Black Coffee. That's on my Instagram and TikTok. Hit me up. I'm your girl. It's your custom brand, one of a kind, one of one. You know it. Tell your story, unlock the brand.
That part. Later.
Peace out, y'all.
Yay.
That was good.
Very good. How long was that? Because that was not
45 minutes.
Hey, good time.
Yeah.